Manny asks, biggest change you see Manny Diaz's defense bringing?
I think with Manny Diaz's defense, one thing we will see is a lot more aggressive approach in a lot of ways. I mean, Brent Pry got aggressive with his blitz schemes, but I think Manny's going to be a guy who's going to blitz a lot more first and second down than Pry did. I also think Manny's a guy who, if you look at his track record, especially in Miami, he wants to force turnovers, which I thought Brent Pry was a terrific defense coordinator for Penn State. One of my biggest complaints with him was there was so many games where you could just feel it. If Penn State could have just gotten a turnover, they would have sealed it. They would have turned the momentum, whatever it was, and it didn't happen enough. I think those are going to be the two biggest changes under Manny Diaz, looking to force more turnovers while also being more aggressive with his blitzing schemes on first and second down.
On that note, Mr. HD thinks we're going to be screaming for Manny's head by midway for the season. So I guess time will tell.
I mean, people can scream for his head midway through the season all they want. I can tell you right now, with his track record, with how much Penn State had to give up to get him here, unless they're giving him about 50 points a game, Manny Diaz, the only way Manny Diaz is leaving after this season if he leaves on his own. So, and if you look at, I mean, not to get off too much of a tangent, but if you look at his track record as defense coordinator, it would be a surprise because everywhere Manny has gone, he's had good defenses. They've been aggressive. They've forced turnovers. They've limited points. It's the guy might not be cut out to be head coach, but the track record says the guy's a tremendous defense coordinator.
Yeah, I'm pretty, and I mean, no disrespect to Brent Pry, solid defensive coordinator. I'm very happy for him at Virginia Tech. I hope he crushes it there, not at Penn State's expense, of course. But I don't know about you. I'm looking forward to a week one game that I'm actually looking forward to. It's not any of the big time matchups, but it's the Old Dominion Virginia Tech game, the James Franklin Bowl, as I like to call it. Ricky Ronnie at ODU and versus Brent Pry at Virginia Tech. So I hope I can find a way to watch that somehow.
Yeah, I'm sure that Saturday afternoon with Penn State, having been playing that previous Thursday, I'm sure James Franklin and a lot of coaches on the staff will be, very tuned into that game to see who wins the James Franklin former coordinator bowl.
No doubt. Oh, we got a really good, nice question here from Lambda. Who starts at tight end this year, Theo or Strange? I'd be inclined to say Theo myself. What about you, Marty?
Yeah, I think Theo Johnson also starts. Now, that's not to say we won't see Brenton Strange. I think we see a good bit of Brenton Strange. I think we also see a good bit of Tyler Warren, especially in the red zone, where they'll look for Warren to block. But my video just froze. I have no idea what's going on. I apologize. But yeah, I think we will see a good bit of Theo Johnson along with Brenton Strange and Tyler Warren, but I definitely think Theo's a starter.
Weggy Ocean asks, what's Penn State's biggest wins coming into this year? O-line again. That's one of yeah, I'd say it's neck and neck between either that or the linebackers. I'd say I'd be more inclined to say linebackers, actually. Just because after Curtis Jacobs, it's not a whole lot of proven talent that's going to be thrown out there at linebacker. Certainly potential, but Curtis Jacobs is the only guy that's projected to start at linebacker that I feel comfortable with right now. Whereas the O-line, you got Juice Scruggs at center, who frankly I think that's going to be an upgrade over Mike Miranda. No disrespect to Mike. I'm sure he's a good kid. And then you got Saleem Wormley back. I think Landon Tangwall get more playing time. We'll see. Maybe hopefully Caden Wallace puts it again more this year. And then you got Hunter Norzad coming in. I have expectations for this guy. I mean, maybe he won't start, but he should be a key part of the rotation. So I think there's more talent returning on the O-line compared to the linebackers. So I'd be inclined to say linebackers probably the weakest, but Marty, you may disagree with me on that one.
No, I think I'm going to agree with you. I think, again, largely because of the depth issues, I think I go linebacker. I think the offensive line, I think if you lose like Olufashanu, for example, because of not having a ton of depth of tackle, especially left tackle, you're in trouble. I think on that interior line, you probably could absorb, a guy or two getting banged up. At linebacker, like we mentioned earlier, I don't think you can. You get one injury at linebacker, especially if it's the Curtis Jacobs, man, you're gonna be in trouble. You get more than one, and you're pressing the panic button. So I think I'm with you. I think, like you said, the offensive line, you have guys there. Like I said, Juice is going to be his best position. Norzad's a guy you're high on. Caden Wallace is a guy has the talent. Same with Fashanu and Tangwall. There are enough bodies at offensive line you can mix and match. You don't have that option at linebacker, unfortunately. So I agree with you. I think linebacker is the biggest question mark and, probably my biggest concern and the biggest weakness going into the year.
Oh, this is a good one from Manny. LeVar Arrington or Micah Parsons.
I think our answer is going to vary on this just because of.
I'm sorry. I love Micah. It still saddens me. We only got one full year of him as a starter, and it's great to see him tearing up for the Cowboys. But I got to go with LeVar Arrington. I mean, he was just all over the place. I mean, I was thinking back to there's a LeVar leap. I mean, I saw that in person as a teenager. I mean, it was amazing in person. It's awesome to, watch it on YouTube for the 50,000th time. And just all the field goals that he blocked over time, over the course of his career. And, if you just go look up like LeVar Arrington Penn State highlights on YouTube, like you're going to see what I'm talking about. And again, it's no disrespect to Micah. He's a athletic monster in and of himself, but man, I have a hard time just from a pure athletic standpoint. It's hard for me to put anyone above LeVar.
And that's what I was getting at when I said I think our answers may vary because there's not a big age gap between us, but I think there's just enough to where, LeVar's last year on campus, I was 8 years old, so I can't say my most memorable moment of that 1999 season is my grandfather picking up his putter and chucking it across his living room after Minnesota hit that field goal. So
I was at that game too, Marty.
Yeah, I remember him standing up, grabbing because he had a little like putting green in his living room, picking up the putter and sending it flying while obscenities flew, and my grandmother came in and chewed him out and told him to be quiet. But as someone who could not probably truly appreciate LeVar because I wasn't old enough for his college career and his NFL career unfortunately was derailed by injury, I'll go Micah. Just change up a little bit. Just, man, like you said, it really sucks we didn't get that third year of Micah because I truly believe if not for COVID, Micah Parsons would have been a legitimate Heisman contender in 2020. That second half, like that Minnesota game in 2019, for example, when Penn State fell behind big in the second half, Micah took over that game defensively. I remember Minnesota got the ball back with like a minute and a half to go, and Micah had like 3 straight tackles for a loss to force a punt where Penn State, if not for a phantom offensive pass interference calling Daniel George, probably come back to win that game. And then obviously in the Cotton Bowl, Micah Parsons was just an absolute terror who Memphis had no hope whatsoever of blocking. But yeah, I'll go Micah. But again, like I said, a lot of that for me just comes from my generation of Penn State football and, my lasting memory of the 99 team being my grandfather throwing his putter and then getting yelled at by my grandmother for his actions.
Yeah, that 919. I mean, it was a team that I'll say as amazing that defense was to watch. That offense, which unfortunately they still had to modernize at the time. I don't think they ever lined up out of the shotgun, but the way with how inconsistent the offense was, I figured it was only a matter of time before it came back to bite them. I didn't think it was going to happen against Minnesota, though. I thought maybe they would lose to Michigan or Michigan State. Like I admittedly didn't think they were going to manage to go undefeated and get to the BCS title game that year, just with how shaky the offense had looked. I mean, inconsistent the offense. They could be really good at times, but Other times they would just disappear. So hard to say. But it's one of those what if type seasons.